guys, my name is Morgan and I'm recording a draft video for GatheringMagic.com. We are in a Swiss today because I wanted to get through a full draft for you guys, and I wanted to guarantee that, so you are going to be getting a whole 4 videos worth of content today. Are you excited? I'm excited. Pretty mediocre pack as far as bombs go. Like Zendikar Royal is good, Erosa's Champion is good if you're red-white. Rock Smallers is fine, but Reave Soul is definitely the pick here. I like picking up removal before I take anything else. It's just a really strong catch-all. So I'm going to take the Reave Soul. Here we have a couple of options. There is a Despoiler of Souls, a Fire Impulse, and an Nantuko Husk. Despoiler of Souls is a little underwhelming, given it can't block especially. Sigiled Starfish also strikes me as something that I might want to pick up, but I'm just going to take the Fire Impulse. Fire Impulse, again, pretty reasonable removal spell, especially being instant speed in this format. That's pretty good. Here, cards that could possibly go in the deck that we are currently building. Undead Servant and Shadows of the Past and Deadbridge Shaman are all fine. I'm going to take the Gear Crafter because getting 2 bodies for the price of 1 is good, especially when you're in red-black, as we appear to be so far. Here, there is a Deadbridge Shaman, a Claustrophobia, and a Farrakhan's Disciple. I'm going to pick up the Foundry of the Consoles, though, because Foundry of the Consoles is a really good way to be inevitable even when you're top decking. So, definitely pretty happy with that pickup. Here, I think I just take the Leaf Gilder over the Alchemist's Vial and the Water Courser, I suppose. I'm not necessarily married to any of these things, so having a Leaf Gilder is a nice backup plan. Here, Celestial Flare is a decent white removal spell. There's also a Titanic Growth, which I think I'm going to take, so that I don't just have 4 colors worth of, oh my goodness, worth of cards. So maybe, like, there isn't a lot of black cards, I guess? I don't know. Taking the Orchard Spirit here, its evasiveness can be a huge threat. But seriously, like, what? Fetid Imp is probably what I'm going to take here over, like, another combat trick. Titanic Growth is pretty strong, so I don't really feel the need to take the Might of the Masses right now. I could be not playing red. Like, that's definitely an option for me. It's not a, like, concrete statement. I could just not be playing green, and that'd be completely reasonable. If you look at my colors, my strongest cards are currently in red and black. Aerial Volley for the board. Foiled Jace's Sanctum for the value. This card, it's super pretty actually. Adam Peckett does a really good job on art. Here, the best card in the pack is the Emperor Tactician, so I'm just going to take it. Here, wow, I'll take the Grasp of the Hieromancer. And a Charging Griffin. Is white open too? Like, I don't quite understand what's going on here, because I had this, like, 7th or 8th pick Reave Soul. Just here, I have choices between Crew Revival, Unholy Hunger, Valor Wardens, and 2-degree Subterranean Scout. Like, the difference between Cruel Revival and Unholy Hunger is 1 black mana. Additionally, like, this can sometimes be value, but I think Unholy Hunger is actually better because of the life gain. This one is also limited by the fact that it can't destroy zombies, which is actually a huge issue and has been in the past. So I'm just going to take another removal spell because that's currently what we have going on, is a bunch of removal. Here we have a bunch of white cards. And I'm not sure I actually want any of them. Like, I could pretty easily move into white, but I think I'm just going to take the Fire Fiend Elemental. I'm going to stick with the colors that I currently have. Like, actually, though. Yeah, we're going to move into red. So, Throwing Knife is very good regardless of the colors. Eyebright Assassin ends up killing a lot of stuff. Majoring Bully is fine. I'm not really interested in taking a second Fire Fiend Elemental. I think I take the Eyebright Assassin here. The potential for removal is really promising, in my opinion. Goodness. There's a Suppression Bonds there, and a Celestial Flare, and I'm just gonna take this Titan Strength. We're gonna stay out of white. So here, I can take the Blightcaster, the Reave Bones, or the Evolving Wilds. All are pretty reasonable. I think I want the Blightcaster. If I get like late Weight of the Underworld, that'd be pretty good. I'm gonna. What the hell, Suppression Bonds? I'm gonna take it. Like, keep passing me Suppression Bonds. I'm gonna take them eventually. I'm but a person that can't really resist the Siren Call. Here, I could take Enthralling Victor. I think I'm just gonna take the Shambling Ghoul though. Like, if I end up getting more like hella late Suppression Bonds, I might just move into black-white. I'll just take the Cleric, I guess. Let's see, white cards that I... Whenever there's a draw between what... like a card that's in my strongest color and a card that is in a secondary color, I tend to pick the card that's in the secondary or the primary color, even if its power level is a little bit lower. Mostly because of situations where like I get a couple early red spells, but then I don't get anything, and I just get a bunch of like white cards. So, so yeah, we'll. Oh my goodness. Yep. Okay, we're playing white. I have decided. Here, I'm going to take the Infernal Scarring because we do have the Blightcaster. Here, I'm going to take Enshrouding Mist. Enshrouding Mist is a really nice combat trick. Here, Veteran Sidearm isn't terrible. Not fantastic, but not terrible. Kythian's Tactics, unlikely to play it. Catacomb Slug, also unlikely to play it, but I will if I have to. Mark my words. Okay, so, interesting draft so far. Right now, I'm not really interested in splashing for anything. Passed up on so much good white, but I'll get over it, I'm sure. Here, there's an Alhammar's Archive. Not exciting. Also, not super interested in the Necromantic summons. There's a Fiery Impulse in this pack, but I think I'd just take the Knight of the Pilgrim's Road and be happy that I'm in white, I guess. I've got 16 whole playables, you guys. I'll just play 3 colors, it's fine. I guess I take the Cleric here over the Shambling Ghoul. I'd rather have a second Cleric of the Forward Order than a second Shambling Ghoul. Oh, I could probably play this Emperor Tactician, actually. This card's pretty sweet when you have Renowned guys, because when you're in a situation where you're trying to get your creatures in for damage, pumping them makes it so that your creature is both incentivized to block because they don't want your guy to get Renowned, but they're also decentivized from blocking because they're bigger than their other creatures. So, Emperor Tactician often leads to unfavorable trades on your opponent's part. Here, there's a Weight of the Underworld. There's also a Stalwart Aven though, and I think I'm going to take that because I'm a little lacking in the creature department right now. Yeah. I'm going to take another Eyebright Assassin over the Caves of Goylos. Here, I could take the second Blightcaster or the first Reave Bones. There's also a Grasp of the Hieromancer in here. Let's see, how many enchantments do I actually have? 1, 2, 3. I think I want the Read the Bones more than I want a Blightcaster. Here, taking a Celestial Flare, for sure. Nice removal spell. Here, I am taking the Deadbridge Shaman. It's a creature, which is always good. And now we are up to the correct level playables. I'm gonna... how many creatures do I have? 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna take the Auramancer over the third Cleric of the Forward Order, because I have things like Infernal Scarring that actually can enter the graveyard, and Auramancer is reasonable to get them back. Gonna cut the sidearm because I don't need to stretch that far for a playable card now. If I get a Weight of the Underworld, I'll probably end up replacing this Infernal Scarring. I did not. Looks like easily taking the second Enshrouding Mist though. Imprudent Tactician might be a bust. Second Auramancer, definitely going to the sideboard. So this deck is definitely not as strong as it could have been, but I think given what we had seen in that draft, it's about as good as it's going to be. Here, second Blightcaster wield. Alright, sweet. Definitely cutting the Imperial Tactician then. And I mean, double Reave Soul. Seems pretty good. Do I want to play this Auramancer? I currently have 3 enchantments. I'm playing the Blightcaster mostly because it's a creature. The incidental value doesn't hurt. I think I actually cut an Enshrouding Mist. It is a good combat trick, but I want to keep all my creatures in the deck. So we're going to add some basics. 9-8 seems like a reasonable split to me. And we are going to submit the deck. I will see you in round 1. We are back for round 1 and on the play, which is awesome. I am definitely keeping this hand. With any luck, we can get some value out of the Blightcaster. I'll play lands, pass turn. Very Miscreante. Well, we know that playing Blightcaster on turn 4 and then Suppression Bonds on turn 5 will kill the Fairy Miscreant, so that's always nice. No Timberback Wolves. Bonded Construct. Well, not really interested in attacking into it. So I'm just going to play my Stalwart Aven and pass. Okay. Alright, so that can be suppression bonded. Alright. And it appears as if I'm killing the bonded construct, although that certainly could be wrong. Or, not wrong, but inaccurate. Definitely killing the bonded construct. Yes. And I'm just attacking with everything. It's kind of a free roll attack on the part of the Topan Freeblade. Or my opponent's just going to turn into Frog and block with Fairy Miscreant, which is fine. Still 2 for 1. Get in for 2 damage. And I'm not really worried about the crackback right now. Alright, so I'm going to play the Shambling Ghoul, play a Cleric of the Forward Order, and attack with the Blightcaster because my opponent can't block. So definitely just attacking with my 3 guys. If I was worried about Bounding Graces, I might have played my Cleric first, and so I gained the extra 2 life, but I'm not super concerned. I haven't been really paying attention to... Oh, my opponent just stopped. Alright, that's good. For my opponent, I suppose. Oh hey, another Blightcaster. Okay, so the big question is, do I throw away a creature to deal 6 damage to my opponent? And the answer is definitely yes. Like, they can block the Cleric of the Forward Order if they want, which is fine, because it's the only one I have. But I have 4 creatures on the ground, and they can only block 2 of them. Alright, 3 of them. Enchantment. Auramancer does not quite cut it. I think I still play it though, because my opponent has to like keep runner-ing creatures. Which with the Sigiled Starfish is not actually beyond the realm of possibilities, but... Rune Servitor. Okay. Okay, so here... We're just going to attack with the Stalwart Aven, and then I'm going to play Eyebright Assassin and kill the Scrapskin Drake. Because this doesn't throw away my creatures quite as much, and it makes efficient use of the Eyebright Assassin's trigger. Additionally, if I draw an enchantment, well, then I'll be, you know, actually set. No blocks. Okay, if my opponent has a Bounding Crisis, let me think. If my opponent has a Bounding Crisis, they have 5 blockers to my 6 attackers, so I think I just attack with everything here. They can do 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 on the crackback in the event of Bounding Crisis. My opponent did not have a Bounding Crisis, so fingers crossed. Oh, okay. Sweet! I'm not playing this Founder of the Consoles. That's bad. Heavy Infantry is a consideration. My opponent gums up the ground quite a bit. I think I play that over the second Blightcaster. I'll keep this. My opponent's on the level 5. And I've got a 2-drop. Sweet. And a 3-drop that doesn't lose value if I just play it into an empty board. My goodness. Well, obviously now I'm just attacking first. Okay, opponent wisely not blocking, so I'll play the Deadbridge Shaman. And there's a good chance I'm just blocking this Ram Roller. Oh, now I'm not. So the most efficient uses of my mana are either to Reave Soul and Charging Griffin, or Reave Soul and Infernal Scarring, or just cast Charging Griffin. I think I'd just attack with the Ghoul and cast Charging Griffin. So next turn I can Eyebright Assassin and Reave Soul, or Eyebright Assassin and Infernal Scarring. Then I'm not missing out on as much block. Discard! Deadbridge Shaman is pretty good when my opponent rolled a 5, but it's a little less good when my opponent had, was getting flooded as well. So just Charging Griffin and Reclaim, putting Ram Roller on top. Okay. That's fine. I think this time I just Reave Soul the Ram Roller. Or, let's see, can I adjust win? No, because it's 5, 8. I'm one short of just winning. Okay, well, we're Reave Souling the Ram Roller. Yay, got there. Alright, so that was pretty sweet. Deck did what we expected it to do, just the way we drew it out, which is nice. It's good when things go as planned. Anyway, I will see you in round 2, so stay tuned. We are here with round 3, or 2, rather, 2. And we're on the draw, so that's fine. We've got a couple good 3s in our hands. Probably going to start out with the Deadbridge Shaman. Oh, never mind. We're gonna play the Stalwart Aven. Given my opponent doesn't have anything to equip the Sword of the Animus to yet. That's a little awkward. So definitely Blightcastering here. Wild Instincts. Gross. Here, I think I read the bones. We're just looking for action. Second Blightcaster works, I guess. Once I draw an enchantment, this Hitchclaw Recluse is totally dead. My opponent is playing 3 colors. Interesting. I'm actually going to play the Deadbridge Shaman and the Knight of the Pilgrim's Road rather than playing the second Blightcaster, mostly because I can't actually kill the Hitchclaw Recluse right now. So. Vastwood Gorger. Also not something I can necessarily kill. I'm just gonna put it on the knight. Well, let's see. I can get in for 9, then kill him next turn. Okay. That works for me. Tap that guy. Blightcaster will be walking Hitchclaw Recluse this turn. And if my opponent manages to kill the Knight of the Pilgrim's Road, then Zendikar Incarnate. Then I can just Auramancer it back. Okay, yes. It's a pretty good draw. And tapping the Vastwood Seer means that my opponent can only kill the Deadbridge Shaman. So, yeah. Alright. Pretty elementary. My opponent had, well, nothing that we could actually, like, deal with. Here. Put in the Foundry of the Consoles, because I forgot. And what did we take out last time? It was a Blightcaster? Yeah, I think we want both Blightcasters. Yeah, no. We'll run it this way. Alright, have the Blightcaster anyways. Sweet. Didn't draw the Topan Freeblade though, unfortunate. My opponent is reading Bones, which is good for me because it means that they won't be able to play a creature that I need to worry about. I can Reave Soul and attack with Deadbridge Shaman if my opponent plays a creature. Or my opponent just is playing mono artifacts. Here, instead of casting Read the Bones, I'm going to cast Blightcaster. The reason being, next turn I can cast Reave Soul and Read the Bones in the same turn, if I want to, / need to. Yeah, I was about to say, I suspect my opponent is going to crack the vial. Read Bones. I was tapping like that because if I draw Celestial Flare, I kind of want to be able to cast it still. I did draw the Celestial Flare, but I also drew a Cleric of the Forward Order, so I would rather add to my board presence. Like, having this many lands in hand means that I don't need to play a land first before I cast Read the Bones. Like, it doesn't make sense. My opponent seems to be a little bit mana. Oh my goodness, my opponent is playing so many colors. Alright, well, I'm going to sacrifice Foundry of the Consoles here. If my opponent blocks the Deadbridge Shaman with the Guilt Leaf Lenore, then I was about to say, then I would let that happen. If they block the Cleric, I would Celestial Flare. But, interesting. Yeah, I suppose when you have like a quality 5 drop that you're waiting on, like the hand's worth keeping, but they just didn't draw any early game, which is why 2 drops are so important, kids, as I have been known to say. Alright, well that was all for that round. It's been a couple short ones today, so hopefully you've been sticking with us. We'll see you in round 3. Hello everybody, and welcome to round 3. We are on the draw, and just waiting for our opponent. I think we can keep this. We've got a Suppression Bonds, and a Celestial Flare, and hopefully we draw like a Swamp at some point. Hey, there's one. Not casting Reave Soul quite yet. Probably could have there. Yeah, it was a mistake to not cast Reave Soul. As soon as I failed to do so, I was like, wait a second, he could have a Bogger Brute. So yeah, now we're in a super awkward position. Alright, now we're getting a little bit better. Not going to attack though. I'll just block. Alright, well, that was a good use of a trick. And now we can kill the Subterranean Scout. I'd rather use Celestial Flare here because I get a lot more value out of the Blightcaster later. So then here I'm going to use the Eyebright Assassin. If my opponent attacks with the Acron Sergeant, that's fine. We can just Suppression Bonds it. If they don't, we can just play a Blightcaster. Lightning Javelin my Blightcaster, fine. I'm just gonna double walk with both my Eyebright Assassins now. Play another Blightcaster. Mighty Leap. Okay, that's fine. Chandra. we Suppression Bonds the Crow and Sergeant. My opponent either blocks or takes 7 and is dead next turn. And I have Spell Mastery, so Unholy Hunger should do work. Yay! Got there. And once more, Foundry. I think the beginning of the game played out a little awkwardly, but we got there in the end, which is nice. Definitely keeping this. Here, definitely playing Shambling Ghoul. I can block Majoring Bully quite adeptly, and I can use the Reave Soul on something else, like a Boggart Brute. Or an Necron Sergeant. Perfectly happy using Reave Soul on a Necron Sergeant. I think I just attack. Play an X1. And I need to draw land. That's not an X1. Okay. No blocks. Alright, guess I'm not attacking with this Shambling Ghoul anymore. Need to draw white mana. Mighty Leap on what? Majoring Bully? Sure. I'll block. If you have Enshrouding Mist, you got me. Alright. Deal. Yeah, I'll play this Blightcaster. Having a bunch of X3s is pretty sweet against a Knight of the White Orchid. I would like to draw Unholy Hunger, or not Unholy Hunger, a land. Soon, please. Or Oracle. Alright, well, that works, I guess. We didn't cast Unholy Hunger there because if my opponent tries to like Knightly Valor War Oracle, I'd rather not, you know, let them do that. Like give them the opportunity to do it to some other creature. I think next turn I'm gonna play Eyebright Assassin and target the Knight of the White Orchid. Oh, or just the Subterranean Scout. Yeah, you got it. So my opponent can't actually activate Chandra. right now. Well, now I can't activate one of Chandra's abilities, which I think is kind of funny. Okay. You got it. Okay. And so I can just kill Chandra. Oh good, more land. Swamps. Need all the swamps. Madians. Yeah. So my opponent has 0 cards in hand. Yeah, and he got super punished just now for the thing that they did. I'm sure... I don't know. Bellows Lizard. No. Alright, so one of our creatures has to be back to block. My opponent is choosing to take out the Shambling Ghoul. Oh hey. No Pyroclasm, please. Playing it on my Eyebright Assassin because my knight is already a huge target. And if my opponent isn't able to kill both of my creatures... No haste, no haste, no haste, no haste. What's hasty in this format? No lightning bolt. I was worried. That game was, You flipped end of turn. Yeah, like, I think one of the biggest problems that people have these days is Magic Flip. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of the time is that people don't cast spells at sorcery speed. For example, that Fiery Conclusion. My opponent could have cast that as a sorcery and then flip Chandra. And in some situations, like Fiery Conclusion is an instant. It like should be used as an instant, and it is best as an instant. For example, it could have countered my Unholy Hunger, and if I had Spell Mastery, it would have prevented me from gaining 2 life. But in that case, they were just using it as a removal spell and a way to flip Chandra, and they would have been better off, like, just getting in some more, like, ping damage with Chandra, which I thought was kind of funny. So, it was my opponent. It was my opponent's game to lose, but, like, I think being salty about it after the fact is kind of iffy. Thank you all for watching and joining me today. For more awesome content, follow me on Twitter, check out my YouTube and Twitch channels, and of course come back next week for another awesome video on GatheringMagic.com. Keep drafting, guys.